everybody. Welcome to Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Choo, episode number 41. Glad to be with you. My name is Gabe Estel, and I'm here with my co-hosts Dennis Levi Leach and Jonathan Getz. How's it going, guys?
Great.
Good. Excellent. Jonathan, I've never asked you this. Do you have a standing desk?
I do have a standing desk.
All
I've
right,
had one
yeah.
for about 3 years now.
Nice. I have one at work. So,
Nice.
I like
Yeah. It's makeshift. It's an IKEA desk with a stool, basically. So if I want to sit down, I just sit down on a stool. It's always elevated.
Yeah. I've got one as well. My old boss kicked down.
Nice.
Anyway, I had to
Nice.
ask. All right.
Yeah, it's the wave of the future.
It is.
Right. You guys are both on treadmills right now for the folks at home.
Doing kegels.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, glad to be back with everybody. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that you can find everything about Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Choo at rockchew.com. So all of our previous episodes, links to cool stuff we've discussed on the podcast. So check that out, as well as Rock in Chew at Rock in Chew. That's our Twitter. As well as the Instagram, too. So that's Rock In, as in there's two N's in Glenn Frey's name.
But there's only one in Rock and Chew.
But there's only one N in Rock and Chew. So at Rock In Chew on Twitter and Instagram, you can find us there. And then also Levi and I tweet. Levi is at ChewHostLevi, and I'm at ChewHostGabe. So you can...
There's some great conversations going on.
Yes. Yeah, jump on in. You can wax poetically with Levi and I, and Jonathan as well.
And you never know what time of the day. You never know what day of the week. It might be on our lunch break.
No, it might. It might. Yeah, definitely. It might be when I'm bored in a meeting. So, yeah, right.
Hey, check it out. #ChewChat.
Yes. So... Anyway, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Tonight we're going to talk about, we lost another, rock legend. Glenn Frey passed away about a week ago, I think. We're going to talk about him, and then also Yoenis Cespedes signing a big 3-year, $75 million contract. So he's getting paid. And then also on the heels of Pearl Jam's tour announcement, as we mentioned last episode, they are playing Bonnaroo, but they've also announced a host of other dates, Wrigley Field and Fenway Park probably being the highlights of that tour. So we're gonna have fun tonight. We're going to write Pearl Jam's Bonnaroo set list. So
it's an honor that they asked.
It is, right? I've been texting McCready all day. So anyway,
asking which songs he would need the 12-string or like the double neck. And
that's right. The following text says, "Leave me alone, or I'm calling the police." Yeah. Right. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. We'll talk about Cespedes first, because it's been kind of quiet on the baseball front over the last week. This is a guy that. The three of us, along with really the rest of MLB and the folks who follow it, were wondering where he would go. He's a unique player in the sense that he might be a little bit of a bad clubhouse presence from what we read, and also he's a guy that's been traded quite a few times, but he is going back to the Mets for 3 years. At $75 million over the course of those 3 years, with the option to opt out after next year, which I'm going to guess he probably will do that. I don't like this trend of opting out, guys.
Yeah,
they're within the right to do it. I mean, if the contract's structured that way, so be it. It's just. It just sucks.
It's weird when you see a 3-year deal in an opt out after 1 year.
Right.
It's so strange, and maybe that was the only way that they could really bring him back.
Yeah, because basically what it amounts to is 1 year at 25 mil, right?
27.5.
Or
he gets in that first year.
That's a pretty good payday.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Gosh, he's a 5-tool guy. Like the batting average maybe isn't quite there like it should be, but I mean all the other boxes you check off with this guy. I mean he's a solid player.
He can have his glove can be a little hit or miss at times. He's got a rocket for an arm, obviously, but that glove bit him a couple times in the series last year.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and like I said, the hitting is the average isn't quite there. The power, can be. So yeah, I mean he's a good player. Like
nobody goes on a power tear like he does, man. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, he'll have a surge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good player. I this trend of opting out, like Greinke did, earlier in the offseason as well. It just sucks for the fans of those teams to know that this signing is really only temporary. I mean, all signings are temporary, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, 1 year or 3. Well, Greinke was with the Dodgers for 3 or 4 years,
something like that. Yeah. And then they bolt for greener pastures.
Arizona.
Right.
By green, you mean
obviously, Greinke's really concerned about winning.
They did make some moves. I'll give them that. They're
still like a third place team in that division.
Yeah, it's tough, but the Mets are going to be good.
The Mets probably will be good. I was a little if they didn't sign Cespedes, I was going to be a little bit uncertain about the Mets, but I think they'll be back in the thick of it. I don't know if they'll go to the World Series again, because I think that there's still some question marks with that offense. But
they lost Daniel Murphy.
They lost Daniel Murphy.
They're Babe Ruth of the postseason.
They've got the best 1 through 3 in baseball, though.
And here's hoping that they stay healthy for their.
That's what
sake.
I was going to say. Is I mean, they're relying on their pitching again, which they do have 3 really good starters there.
Oh yeah,
and they might have a 4th really good starter as
well.
But
there's things. There's just intangibles. Is that guy going to pitch as good as he did last year? Is that guy not going to get injured? Is the team going to hit behind the guy? Because the Cubs with Lester, it was like Lester at the start couldn't get a win to save his life because it seemed like they could hardly hit behind him.
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
There's a lot of intangibles when you ride that much on pitching, I think.
Yeah, it's like a perfect storm at times. And last year was definitely the perfect storm because nobody was really giving them a shot, come August to, nobody was, not as many people were picking them to, represent the NL in the series.
I think they played above expectations last year,
I'll admit it. I didn't think they were going to hand it to the Cubs the way they did.
No way in hell did I think they were going to hand it to the Cubs.
Nobody in Chicago did.
No, but I mean, just the way that they did it. I mean, obviously you had Murphy going on this just unprecedented tear.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
And then also dominant starting pitching as well. But I mean, offensively, the Cubs were, on paper, much better than the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
So they should have. I mean, it's just. Murphy.
Except for that starting pitching.
Murphy, and then when you have to face those 3 guys, every day. Yeah. If they get to the playoffs, that rotation is built to go. They don't. The Mets, though, still, even with that starters, like I'm not just like penciling them in as champs.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see that.
It's going to take another perfect storm.
It could happen. But I'm just not ready just to say that. Oh yeah, it's got to be the Mets in the National League.
But hey, you know what? A lot of people didn't think the Royals would make it back, and sure enough, they've made it back and they won the whole thing.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, if I had to pick, I think the National League comes down to the Cubs, the Giants, and the Mets. I think those would be the.
Are the Giants due again?
I think they are. Yeah, I mean, look at all the. It's. I know it's an even year, and also just they broke out the checkbook in the off season, and they already had a pretty good team, and they only augmented it. So yeah, I think they'll be tough. I think that'll be the Cubs. Well, I don't know. It depends if the Cubs face the Mets or the Giants in the NLCS. Both those will be competitive series, though.
If the Mets and the Cubs meet again in the NLCS, that would be a highly, highly rated championship series.
Yeah, big markets.
Everybody would love that.
Yeah.
And just because of the idea of a rematch. Yeah, absolutely. That would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's hope it happens. So, Anyway, Cespedes goes.
So yeah, I guess Dexter Fowler's up next to be signed.
Dexter Fowler, yeah. The guy that I am surprised, and this isn't a position player, but that I'm surprised hasn't been signed yet is Doug Fister. I was looking at him, and I'm like, all right, this guy's he's not that old. He has a pretty good track record. He's not like maybe an ace, but he's looked ace-like.
Pretty
at
good,
times.
solid 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of surprised he's still out there. I know there were some pitchers that were ahead of him in the,
Ian Kennedy, guys like that. Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm surprised he's still out there because spring training starts in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Woo. So yeah, I'm just surprised he's still out there. But
and one other minor baseball news of the week was also, did you guys see there's minor rumblings about how there could possibly be the DH in the National League by as early as 2017.
Good.
Yeah.
How do you?
I just wondered what your guys' quick opinion. Jonathan, obviously,
so overdue. Why the hell are there different rules for different leagues? That's one of the dumbest things.
Yeah, go one or the other.
Exactly. Yeah, just do one or the other.
Either add the NL or take away the AL.
Actually, part of me prefers the idea of having the pitcher bat in both leagues because it shortens the games.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, I would rather have them.
I think I would rather have them all hit.
Yeah.
All the pitchers hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want it the same. What if one of the leagues today proposed that they were going to have this new rule where you could bring a player back into the game after you pulled them, but the other league wasn't going to have that, and everybody would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's one of the abnormalities in sports that's just lasted way too long.
I want to research actually, like when it happened. What was it? The 70s that it happened.
It was in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, and what people were saying then. The idea of one league having different rules than the other.
Well, the players' union likes it because it's another roster spot,
right? Right,
and also it can extend the careers of some hitters.
Exactly.
You get those first basemen when they start
Giambi, Ortiz,
their early 30s. It's like, well, we can move this guy to DH now.
Yeah.
And. Yeah, there are arguments for it.
Well, as a Cubs fan, I should probably want it. You know what I mean? Schwarber DH, like all day long.
Right.
Yeah, right.
But, part of me wants to, I don't know, old-fashioned wholesomeness of the game is that everybody should hit, no matter what position you play.
There's probably a few teams that don't want it because they do. There's a handful of pitchers that can hit. Like you look at somebody like Madison Bumgarner. The guy's got 4 grand slams in his career.
Yeah.
Greinke too. Greinke can hit.
Yeah, there are some guys that can rake.
Oh,
yeah. Didn't Greinke hit 280 last year or something like that?
Probably.
The Cubs used to use Travis Wood as a pinch hitter sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So I'm with you though. Just one or the other. This has gone on too long. So and just it'll put the debate to rest too.
Exactly.
Because we've been debating about it for the last 40 years.
And we won't have to hear about it every World Series where they're like, well, we need to explain this. Since they're in the American League Park, then this National League team can use a DH. Who does that benefit? It's like, oh, jeez.
Just put it to rest. All right. Speaking of folks who are resting now in peace, Glenn Frey of the Eagles passed away about a week ago. So rest in peace to Glenn Frey. Now, I want to talk, and this, obviously it's a big death, but I think, it got a lot of attention as well because it came on the heels of Bowie, I think, as well. Yeah. We were just like, oh, another one. Wow.
And Lemmy and Scott Weiland. And
yeah, right. So it's been a rough couple months.
Natalie Cole.
Natalie Cole was
yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about kind of the divisiveness of the Eagles' legacy, because I think that the other story when Glenn died was, a lot of, you either love the Eagles or you hate them. It's I think the sort of how the Eagles split people and split opinions also came up as kind of a subplot in all of this.
Yeah.
And I want to get you guys' take on the Eagles. You know, I also think the Big Lebowski contributed to our generation's not liking the Eagles too. Fucking dude, he hates the Eagles, man.
I had a hard day, man.
Yeah, right. For me, what tainted the Eagles for me, and there are some Eagles songs that I like, but what tainted them, what prevents them from being like, you know, one of my favorite bands is FM radio.
Yeah.
I just had to hear it so much growing up, like those probably 8-9 Eagles songs that are played often, you know, on the radio. Basically, that greatest hits album they have. You know, that turned me off. Now that I listen to some of their lesser known songs, I like them. I like some Eagles tunes that aren't popular. I do. So that's how I feel. Like there are some nuggets that are worth pursuing in the Eagles catalog, but I could be totally content if I never heard any song off that greatest hits album ever again.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing is, what gets lost along the whole way is how great the songwriting is in those songs.
Yeah.
And it becomes watered down because you hear it so much. You know what I mean? Take It Easy is a great song, but now that I have heard it 9 million times or whatever, it's hard to connect to it. You know what I mean? It's hard to it's hard to find a way. You know what I mean? When you're 16 or 15 or however old and you hear songs like that for the first time, you can still kind of feel a connection to them.
Sure.
But over the years, it's a shame to the songs, I think. It
diminishes their meaning. It should, but it does.
And
they become wallpaper to like any sort of scenario you could imagine.
Right.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. Because I mean, if I'm on, you know, in the car, I still listen to FM radio some. You know, I cycle the channels.
Sure.
And if In the City's on, I'll always listen to In the City.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because it ties to like the Warrior movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's just. But, like, you know, they were playing Seven Bridges Road the other day, and that's one that you don't hear a ton. Like
Steve Young wrote that one.
Yeah. That's a great song.
It's the live version is, I'll say this, that's probably one of their popular tunes that I don't mind hearing just because the harmonies are so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Levi mentioned the term watered down. And before I pass it on to Jonathan about the Eagles, that phrase is important because I like the Eagles' influences more than I like the Eagles. And I think that the Eagles took a lot of bands that I really like Buffalo Springfield, the Byrds, the Burrito Brothers, Poco. Yeah. They kind of took that country rock sound and sort of watered it down. And that watering down proved very lucrative.
Oh, shit.
You know?
Sold fuckload more records than everybody else.
Then. Oh yeah,
I mean, all those bands I just mentioned.
And part of it, I'm not sure if, you know, watering down. I don't want it to be derogatory. Like they slicked it up kind of as well with production, and
that might be better.
It's funny that you know there's basically three people in the world: people who love the Eagles, like from the beginning. People who say the Eagles are all right, but only because of Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh, like, is the only redeeming thing about the Eagles. And then there are people who hate the Eagles. Yeah. So, and I get the Joe Walsh thing, because, like, I do feel like their output after he was in the band was obviously better.
Oh, I disagree with that. I think really? I think the pre-Walsh stuff is better.
Yeah?
I mean, he was only on 2 records.
Part of me, the guys that were in the band then really didn't want to be in the band. Was it Bernie
Leadon and
Meisner?
Randy Meisner.
Yeah, I mean, like it was still a band trying to find its sound. I think at that time, and part of me just I couldn't connect to some of the early stuff as much as I could the more slicked up production stuff with Walsh.
Yeah. I mean, they're an all-star band. You know, I mean, you look at the success that everybody else in the like Walsh, Frey, and Henley all had. before not Walsh before the Eagles, but Henley and Frey, after they broke up in the 80s. Yeah, it's a talented crew. I just didn't always like I didn't always like the output, but it's a talented crew, definitely. Well, Jonathan, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you guys can keep going.
I was going to finish. My comment about those guys not wanting to be in the band was they were, and obviously it was with Bernie a lot. Mm-hmm. They wanted to be in a country rock band. And
they wanted the sound to remain traditional.
Yeah, and so once it started to lose its country sound, I think they were ready to not be in the band. So then it kind of turned into, could Joe Walsh kind of save the Eagles? Because there was like a lot of uncertainty. Yeah. And like the record labels, like, you guys are under contract, you need to put out hits or whatever. And so, Hotel California came out and kind of it gave the band a kind of a second chance.
Right. Although One of These Nights was pretty popular.
Oh yeah.
I think it went to #1. But yeah, you're right. They, from an industry standpoint, definitely when Walsh came on board, they upped the game. Yeah. Jonathan, what about you? How do you feel about the Eagles?
I'm going to introduce Levi to a fourth type of Eagles fan, which is the indifferent Eagles fan. Now, I say this with all due respect to Glenn Frey. The dude could write a fucking song and sell 1 million albums at the drop of a hat. So tons of respect. But when a song comes, if I happen to be listening to FM radio, if a song comes on and it's not, as long as it's not Hotel California, I probably won't turn it off. It might also turn off Witchy Woman. But most of the time it's fine. I don't really mind. Yeah. But so this week I was gonna do what I did with Bowie, which was with Bowie I listened to the whole catalog from start to finish. And during the week after he died. And so I was going to do that with the Eagles this week. And I only got about 6 songs in. And
that bodes well.
And I bailed. And I kind of skipped around to some other albums just to kind of hear the evolution of the sound. And it is interesting it does get pretty slick as it goes along.
I told you, I didn't like a lot of the popular tunes. I don't know if it's on the greatest hits or not, but it's a hit. I do like One of These Nights for a single, popular single.
Yeah.
I feel like that album too is kind of their bridge between the old sound and the new sound.
Absolutely.
It's the one that came out before Walsh came, but One of These Nights is sort of like half in, 1 foot in the door for where they were going. But it's also got some risk, they put like 9-minute like Journey of the Sorcerer on it, which is an instrumental. So it's I do like One of These Nights, and my favorite Eagles song is Too Many Hands, and that's on One of These Nights. So yeah.
I'm not saying that there's probably some really good obscure stuff out there, but I just didn't have the patience for it.
Sure.
But still, hey, Glenn Frey, way to go.
And growing up in the 80s, if you had never heard The Heat Is On, it was like you must have lived under a rock or something.
Oh, yeah.
That song was everywhere.
80s Cops were good to Glenn Frey. Beverly Hills Cop and then followed by Miami Vice, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention he made one of the greatest music videos ever in Smuggler's Blues.
Yeah. The budget on that, I wonder what it was.
I don't know.
It's like a little movie.
It is, yeah. Here's a little money. Do it just the way we planned. If you're cool for 20 hours, I'll pay you 20 grand. Last point about the Eagles before we move on. One thing I noticed as well, when they got back together in '94, after being apart for, about 15 years, that kind of ushered in the modern reunion tour,
Yeah.
Because, some time had elapsed. It was like the mid-'90s. I think '94 was when they got back together for Hell Freezes Over. That kind of was sort of the first tour where baby boomers could really wax nostalgically. You know what I mean? And it sort of ushered in this high-price tickets, VIP experience. All of that, I think the Eagles were kind of, that reunion tour it set the tone for where a lot of the veteran acts, how they approach tours today.
Yeah, it was like them and the Rolling Stones for sure.
Right, yeah.
That was probably maybe the second or third CD I ever owned.
Hell Freezes Over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get over it.
Oh yeah.
All right. So anyway, but nonetheless, Glenn Frey certainly, he knew what people wanted. So, what many people wanted. So rest in peace. They also, I think their songs sound better when you're drinking. I do. I do. They are kind of a kick your feet up kind of, band.
Oh, yeah, blue collar, man.
Yeah.
Have a beer, listen to the music.
Yeah. Okay. Now moving on to our main course here. As we mentioned earlier, Pearl Jam has recently announced a tour. Starts actually in the spring and then goes into the summer. So they're going to be playing...
Yeah, it's about 5 weeks in April into May, and then they're off until
and then
August.
There's a break. Okay.
And then that's when the Fenway and...
So it's basically a spring tour with these special ballpark shows.
I think the ballpark shows are going to be turned into kind of the PJ 25. They did the 20th anniversary. That was at Alpine Valley 5 years ago. And I think it's like an as yet announced version of PJ 25 over the span of 4 dates at Fenway and Wrigley. So they'll probably do some special stuff there.
I would think so. Yeah, there's probably good things in store for those shows, I would imagine. But one of their big dates in June is they'll be playing Bonnaroo. This is their second time headlining it. Levi was fortunate enough to catch it the last time they headlined in 2008. So we're going to have some fun here. What we're going to do is we're going to draft Pearl Jam's Bonnaroo set list. If
in the
guys,
round.
Yes. So Jeff, Mike, Stone, Eddie, Matt, if you're listening, we'll write the thing for you. Okay?
It's already done.
That's right. So what we're going to do is Jonathan informed us that their last Bonnaroo performance was about 26 tunes. Obviously, at Bonnaroo, you can kind of you can probably stretch the time a little bit, I would imagine, for the most part.
Yeah.
So they're going to be the headliner one of those nights, and we're also going to throw in a couple guests. Each of us will pick a guest to sit in on a song.
And you never know when they're going to come out.
And the guests are pulled from the rest of the Bonnaroo roster. Okay?
So it's plausible.
Yes.
We don't know what nights everybody's playing yet. So
right. Yeah.
We're just assuming that they'll be there.
I mean, they might stick around, or at least some people in the band might stick around if they play like Friday night,
Sure.
because they don't have, it's not in between dates.
Yeah.
But for a lot of bands, Bonnaroo comes in the middle of a tour, so I'd imagine there is that collaborative spirit in the air, but also I'd imagine just the timing doesn't work out sometimes.
Yeah, they're on the road.
Yeah. So, anywho, so let's go ahead and start. You know what? Jonathan is now I like Pearl Jam. Jonathan really, really likes Pearl Jam. So we'll go ahead and Jonathan, we'll let you choose the opener.
So Pearl Jam usually opens with a quieter tune, and then they kick it up a notch with a second tune, which is probably kind of common with a lot of bands. And one of their still kind of staples, but it was really a staple back in the early 2000s for an opener, is off of Binaural, "Of the Girl" is the opener.
Okay.
All right, good. I'm writing these down, by the way. So, all right, so he's got "Of the Girl" as an opener, so a nice subtle opener,
ethereal opener. The lights will stay real low. Maybe a couple blue or purple lights will be on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like 5 or 6 minutes. McCready does his his kind of spacey guitar solo in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of.
Actually, wait, is that Stone's guitar solo on there? Anyway, go on.
Was that the first single off Binaural?
No, Nothing As It Seems.
Nothing As It Seems, yeah, which just screams hit. Nothing As It Seems. Don't get me wrong, I like the song, but
I know.
I can understand how management might not want that as the first single.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
anyway, all right. So Levi, will go with you, and then I'll go.
Okay, we need a song to kick it up next.
Yeah, kick it up a notch, Levi.
I'm gonna go with "Animal."
Nice.
I
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, off of Versus.
All right, good work. You know what? I'm gonna piggyback off Levi here. I'm gonna keep it rocking. I'm gonna go with "Go" as the third song in the set.
That's not out of the question.
It's not. No,
no.
We're kind of following a formula, but at the same time, we want to. We'll probably deviate from it a little bit here.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jonathan, go ahead. Number 4.
Oh boy. And I don't mean to take too much time on these, but I want to get it right.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and take "Severed Hand."
All right.
Off of Avocado.
Okay.
Which is it's another barn burner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is a good one. Severed Hand. Okay, so dipping into the
later catalog.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah. So even though that album's been
latter half.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. Levi, song 5.
I'm feeling like we need to maybe slow it down just a little.
All right.
Crowd's getting a little rough, maybe let some people catch their breath.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it could be.
You could go mid-tempo too.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we'll do "In Hiding."
Okay.
Nice.
Good.
Nice.
Good song.
Nice.
One of my favorite solos.
Oh my god. Yeah. And the outro to that. Oh, it's great. Can we ask Stone for maybe an extra verse of the outro on "In Hiding"?
Sure. Absolutely. Okay, so "In Hiding." So yeah, good mid-tempo selection there from Levi. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna stick to a song from that era. I'm gonna go with "Given to Fly" as number 6.
Okay, all right. We're representing the albums well here, so a couple there from Yield.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now No Code hasn't been represented yet, and that's usually that's my favorite record of theirs. So we're gonna have to come in and get something off of that. They did play "Who You Are" at Bonnaroo in 2008, which it's a rare cut. A good, kind of slower cut, and one of my favorites too. But I don't know, maybe, because present tense is always there. Mankind is fun to get Stone involved singing. All right, I don't think the time is right for No Code yet.
Okay.
So
all right,
I'm gonna scale it back a bit and say, shit, sorry guys, this is I don't want to get this wrong. I'm gonna go obscure B-side and say "Undone."
Okay. So the casual fans can take a piss break there. All right.
Yes.
All right. So "Undone." Okay, good. All right. Levi, number 8.
I'm gonna whip it back up a little bit. I'm gonna go with one that was probably my favorite song off Vitalogy, and that's "Spin the Black Circle."
Nice.
All right, that's a ripper. All right, so "Spin the Black Circle." So that one's very up tempo. I'm gonna go with for number 9. I'm gonna go with "Last Exit."
Nice.
So actually, that's funny. We're reversing the first two cuts off of Vitalogy.
Yeah.
And we did that with it's "Go" and "Animal" on "Go" is the first track on Verses, right? And "Animal" is the second. So we did that twice now. All right, getting a little geeky here. So that's interesting. It's an interesting. Right. What are we saying here? What are we saying? All right, so yeah, that's intense. And I'm gonna go ahead and keep it running hot. So this is Of the Girl, "Animal", "Go", "Severed Hand", "In Hiding", "Given to Fly", "Undone", "Spin", "Last Exit", and one of my favorite songs of theirs of all time, another one off of Binaural, sticking up for it. It is "Grievance".
That's a good one. I like that one.
Okay.
All right, "Grievance" then for number 10. All right, song 11, Levi. So it looks like we've covered probably about 40 minutes of the set or so here.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna what do we say, about 25 songs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide if I want to slow it down a touch or keep it real.
Something to keep in mind too is that often in that that first encore, they'll slow it down for about 4 songs.
Right.
Yeah, so if you want to save anything for then,
I have one.
Hint, I have a couple ready for that first encore.
I have one that I'm going to save for that for sure.
We'll say first encore is song 20. Or no. We'll say song 16 is the first encore.
Okay.
We haven't said anything off 10 yet, have we? Let's do Porch.
All right. Wow. All right. Porch that high in the set. Very unusual.
All right. Okay. After Porch, then.
But I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, people are winded at this point.
We had not represented that album.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, that was probably like an 8-minute version.
All right. I'm going to slow it down a little bit here. Somewhat. I'm going to go with In My Tree for number 12.
Ooh, nice. My favorite PJ cut.
All right.
My absolute favorite.
Yes. All right.
And to keep it down there a little bit about that tempo, I'm going to say Marker in the Sand.
Okay.
Oh, off Avocado?
Yeah. Great. I mean, dude, that's a catchy tune. It should have been a hit. Not that it matters.
Right. 2006, people were done buying albums. Almost. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Levi, song number 14.
We're getting close to the end of the set here.
Yes. Yeah, they structure their encores differently than a lot of bands.
Let me see. It's tough. Okay, here. I think I'm gonna do something off Avocado.
I listened to the Moline show where they did No Code in its entirety yesterday. Right. Those, oh man, like I would have wet myself if I was there.
Lucky people in Moline,
and it's so cool too because you can hear the build up because they opened with Elderly Woman, but then they did Sometimes, and then so that's not unusual to have up there. And then after Sometimes, they went ahead and did Hail Hail, and then all of a sudden people are thinking, wait a second, what's happening here? They're doing it in order. And then it's around like the 5th song that they say something that, hey, we're doing something we've never done before. And people are going ape shit.
Right.
Lucky bastards.
I think I'm going to go with Life Wasted. And I want the full thing with like the Wasted reprise.
Oh, the reprise. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
So like right after the,
end of the reprise. Still counts as just one cut though.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the reprise is like a minute on the CD.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So song 15. So nice. This bounces to me at a good time. I get to end the first set.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Ooh, shit, I should have been thinking. I wasn't thinking about positioning here. God damn it.
While you're doing that, I'll mention that it was then in Milwaukee when they did Yield in its entirety.
Yes.
And
they treated the Midwest well over a few
They did, because they had never been to Moline before, because who has?
Right.
And so, yeah, they got lucky, for sure.
All right, hold on.
I assume at some point they've done 10 in its entirety, probably maybe back in the early days.
Okay, I'm going to do... Hail Hail to end the set.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Powerful.
Yeah. All right. So begin the encore. First encore.
One of the best songs that Ed has ever written. It is unfortunately on a mediocre movie soundtrack, and it is called Man of the Hour from Big Fish.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard that one in a while, but I know the tune you're talking about. Yeah. All right.
So again, low key.
Can we? I think we
You're
haven't
up.
all those yesterdays.
Ooh,
Nice.
Done that?
Good.
nice.
I think that would follow that well.
It would.
It would. Well played, Levi. Well played. All right. We'll post this set list online, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I've got it handwritten, so maybe we can do my handwriting there. Make it look like a set list that was written, man.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So after all those yesterdays, okay. Yeah, this is a little bit of a mellower one. Okay. Oh, fuck. I'm playing my card here. I got my guest. I got my first guest.
Oh, nice. Right? Nice. Yeah.
I can do that. Okay, I'm doing Low Light, which is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
With Jason Isbell.
Ooh, wow.
How y'all like that?
Very nice.
So, Yep, Jason Isbell on acoustic guitar with the band.
Nice. That's a hard one, too, to play. It's like in a weird time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so good luck to him. I'm sure he can pull it off.
Yeah, start practicing, Jason.
And I'll do, let's see, so the first encore we'll say is 5 songs, and then they'll come back out.
Yeah, 2 more tunes for this encore.
And gosh, I haven't done it yet. No, I've been holding on to this one. Again, I think one of the finest tunes that Ed has written is I Am Mine off of Riot Act.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a post 9/11 song that kind of cuts to the bone.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, good tune. So I'm ending this first encore.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can take it up a notch right now if you want to. Whatever you feel right.
I think I'm going to finish with a guess.
Ooh,
we're gonna have a couple guests.
All right.
I think we're probably going to have Bob and Bill from Dead & Co. come out.
Okay, Kreutzmann, huh? All right.
I think, being this Dead & Co., I think we have to have a little bit of an arrow. So I'm going to do an abbreviated bird song acoustic with Ed singing Into Eyes of the World.
Whoa.
All right. Okay, so we could. Okay. All right.
Whoa.
So that ends the first encore.
Wow.
Nice.
Unprecedented.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Let me just. God, I gotta wrap my mind around that.
Sit down during this encore break, Gabe.
Birdsong, Arrow, Eyes of the World.
Yeah, I think Eddie could really do both of those songs well.
I'd love to hear it. Good God. Yes. All right, hold on. I'm just writing all this down here. With Bob here and Bill Kreutzmann. All right. I already got. No, I'm not going to say it because there's no revisiting earlier in the set. Right. Okay. Because I kind of wish I would have. With all due respect to Jason Isbell, maybe a different. I would have gone a little differently if I had to do it again. But it's done. It's done.
Hey, it's
all right.
Yeah, it's a chance you take in a live setting.
We're beginning now the second encore, so essentially the last 5 songs of the show.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to go deep, as in deep.
Ooh, wow.
Yep. To kick off the encore.
Wow.
First song we've chosen off 10 as well.
No, we had.
I threw in Porch.
Sorry, we had Porch. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna feel bad if we don't represent an album, but I'm not really paying too much attention to that right now. So I apologize right now if anybody's upset that we don't represent an album tonight.
Yeah, this is us picking it. We want you guys to go online and pick your own.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Log on, comment.
Gosh, Gabe, by throwing deep in there, you really messed with my vibe I was going to go with. But I got to roll with it. This is how it works.
That's the way the cookie crumbles gets.
Yeah, so I'm going to stay intense. I think by my calculations, I get the last song.
Okay.
So I'm going to save that, what I had in mind for this song for then. So we're gonna keep it intense. You know, we haven't played Corduroy yet. It's played at every show, and I never mind hearing it. I will never get tired of hearing that song. There are Pearl Jam songs I'm fine not hearing anymore, but that is one they can play every time. But that being said, I don't know if it's right here. Instead, I'll keep it intense. And another song that is played almost every show that I never get tired of. Oh,
While we're young,
you get 2 picks, man. I only get 1. I'm over here trying to think. What's my last song?
It would be awesome to hear Deep and then Blood. That would be great. So I'm gonna say Blood.
All right, good.
Sorry for the hemming and the hawing.
No problem.
So, and what's funny is I have every song crossed off my list except 2. So I'm down to my final choice out of these 2 songs.
Ooh.
Both are kind of intense. It's in the air. It's either Release Me or Dissident.
Ooh. Wow.
Release.
It would be unusual to have Release not as the last song. It's not unprecedented.
Or the first song.
Right, or the first song.
Yeah.
It's not unprecedented, though.
It's a sunrise, sunset thing.
Levi, you could make a call here and say Release and then another encore break with 2 more songs for the third encore.
I think I'll go Dissident. I'll go Dissident.
Nice.
All right. Good. Okay, this is my last selection. All right. Gosh, this would be a weird spot to put it in, but since it's one of my favorite songs, gosh, it would be weird here. I don't know. I mean, it usually appears. It's more of a middle of a set.
Yeah.
Tune. So that's difficult. But God, it's one of my favorite songs. You know what? Fuck it, dude. No, this is a different one I'm coming out. I'm gonna do Leash.
Nice. Wow, so 3 Versus songs in a row. All right.
Oh yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was on my list. I'm glad you said it. So Leash, and this is the last song, right? This is the 25th song.
Here it is, folks.
Special guest. I haven't used my special guest card yet.
What are we sending them back walking to their tents to, Jonathan?
Well, I hope Mavis Staples had her ears muffed while Leash was being played, all of those F-bombs, because she comes out and they do The Wait with Mavis Staples.
Nice. There you go.
To close out the set.
Yeah.
Well put.
So there you have it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. If you were to choose Yellow Ledbetter, I was going to flip over this desk. All right.
So yeah, here's my worksheet for the day, all filled up.
Cool.
Yeah. So everybody should post their worksheets, though.
Well done, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, that concludes this episode of Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Choo. We will be posting these set lists on various social media, which you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at
Tell us what we missed.
In Choo. Yeah, please. We'd love to hear your contributions as well. So, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Rock in Choo. And then also you can find everything within the Rock and Roll Shin-Soo Choo world at rockchew.com. So until next time, everybody, have a good night.
Peace.